what thumbnail it's going to give you guys, but I'm simulcasting on Instagram as well. I'm trying something that I was showing somebody else do. Right, well, good morning, folks. It's 8:07 a.m. on the 9th day, 7th month, 2023. And I'm watching the two flows beginning to meet. The one that has been moved up and around from the tropics with all of its moisture and havoc. And some of the stuff that has been absolutely haunting New Zealand for a long time, right over here, has come back to haunt you. As the moisture is being stripped now and directed into the low that's just come across the outside of the thumb and is now fully formed into its rectangular shape of non-circulation, right? It's not circular. The only thing circular is the spinning of a square. Lots of dot bombs going off here to see, but I'll show you those a little bit more detail. Right, some very heavy bands coming into Hastings, Hawke's Bay, Gisborne, up in toward these mountains now as these flows are mixing and hemming up against what's coming in from the west. Right, as this pushes against this mass of chem, the condensates are going to collide together more and heavier droplets will form and then overcome the updrafts and such, or be driven toward the ground. A big heavy band streaming into Nelson now. It's going to last a bit. You see, it's between the two here, between your Kaka place and your old Nelson. Captain Nelson over there. Admiral Nelson. Has some very cold temperatures at that layer of the atmosphere. Yeah, very, very, very cold. So as far as what they say you can expect to get over the next 24 hours, as I've had a good look. Yes, I'm playing with my Instagram today. I've got one person actually watching on Instagram, and I should be able to see your comments when you type them there. Hey, so if you've never been able to make comments, seek out my Instagram, and you'll see something that says testing on my wall, and with a link. And that's my Instagram. And so you should enjoy that. So this is your up and around move. But the clobber's really coming across where the wind is, which is a bit strange, isn't it? This one's not very accurate. I would go by what I showed you. Because a lot of the stuff is streaming straight down because of the dynamics of the geoengineer. It's not accurate. Right? When you're lied to about your radar and your weather, this would be more accurate, but it's not. Of what's going on right now, because you guys have given me reports of hammering rains, incredible winds, not much lightning yet. I say yet because the batch that's coming over is carrying a lot of the silicas and the ions needed for the lightning show, which you can be expecting here across the top. Here's a little later today, or tonight, your time. And the schmackaroo for Hawke's Bay and the up and around here on Monday. This will be later in the afternoon, they say is going to happen. But I think it's going to be fairly continuous. Because when I look at this here, I don't know if it's fully loaded yet. I'll bring it over as best that I can. Now you can see the bands here. But you can also see what's been deployed here. It's streaming straight down. So I say I have to look at the chem itself and to determine what forecast is going to be accurate. Because none of them are telling the truth. Not either one of those four choices was showing you accurately what's going on over the next 24 hours. Well, you'll get 5 centimeters up in these hills. I think on the next 36 hours easily. Most likely a little sooner than that. Your 12-hour totals are going to be quite high. You can see the bombs here just going off the tip of the kiwi nose over here. You see it? Like, can't really get in any higher. If I zoom up, it's going to give all sorts of lines and stuff. So the Instagrammers are going to get the benefit of the zoom of my camera today. See that center, that dot right there? The streamer's coming off in the figure 8 drawing. That's not a naturally occurring cloud formation when things are just streaming straight south, but the wind is blowing in that direction. Right, because it showed that on the graphs. It would have to. It has to start feeding this system with this big square streaming off. The upper level winds is actually streaming that way. But yet the cloud mass itself is moving ahead of it. Look at the pull as they go towards each other. The magnetic particulates and statics and potentials of the EMF begin to really get an effect on the nanoparticles and magnetic stuff in the mix. Carbon nanotubes, to prove if they're oxidized or not, would require a laboratory and to determine. But carbon nanotubes we're well aware of. It is a very accurate term. We produce diesels do it, planes do it, and this is using coal fuel, making fuel for bunker fuel, as Mike used to call it. Morales, he often produce these things in the high temperatures of a jet exhaust or a combustion chamber in general. Lots of chem off the coast in this system that's coming your way. It's going to smack this coastline quite hard when it hits with a brunt of wind, waves, in action. Chem bombs. Bida bam, bida bam, 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 bomb. Chem bomb, said the foghorn. Chem fog. Here she comes, the nightmare on every street. You get the funniest looks from people when you talk about the geoengineering and you start to speak. Boom, 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 boom. Boy, are some people media junkies. They only want to talk about what's on the nose. I'm telling you, look at the nose on the face of this thing out here. Now, that's a big bomb field. You can actually see the epicenter of it right there in that square with the arrow pointing at it. Could it be shape charges? Is it a cloaked TRB? It's too big for the TRB. Okay, so I would say you have shape charges. You have fireworks being deployed in your sky. And it's very obvious that the firework deployments, as whenever you see a fireworks show in a city, and you look at the smoke after the big boom finales and stuff, and they look just like these smoke things that you see here in the sky. Boom. Everybody's got their own traditional song. And I think you boom, Uncle Sam now scamming you. Boom, 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 boom. Harvard University philanthropist, Couch Group, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundations, funders of the blocking of the sunlight, which they think is excellent. And I think it's not. Because this stuff is falling out and it's not very good for our lungs. And I want some pH readings of this rain. Accurately taken to show me what it is. Show yourself what it is. Tell everybody what it is. Because if it's acidic, there ain't no volcano blowing there. And you've got acid being deployed in your skies as proposed in the following document. The CIGA 111 Geoengineering Paris Agreement document. Right, anybody can Google this. I'm sorry about the stripes on my screen, but I'm recording the best as I can. And I've passed this document many times. Anybody can find it. SIGI online document. 111, October 2016. Mr. Burns prepares a document about the governance of geoengineering here. And a lot of you guys have never seen this before. And, well, I'm not going to go over the whole thing today. I've done it many times. But I want to go right to the meat and potatoes. I just want you to see Mr. Burns here. It really is his name. Excellent. So I'll go here to page 13. And this is meat and potatoes. Why do I say sulfur? Where is this coming from, Robert? Well, sulfur aerosol injection. It says right there. Potential delivery vehicles for sulfur stratospheric sulfur dioxide injection include aircraft. I'm going to zoom that up for you. Can you see it now? Right? Aircraft. Artillery shell. There's your chem bomb method right there. Stratospheric balloons. There's the platform upon which to put that. Hoses suspended from towers. Cooling towers and such with hoses in them with various things in them to cause geoengineering stuff. Here's an article here that if you look up this guy, and let me bring this more on the screen for you here. He talks about titanium oxide. That's a carcinogen. right? These are chemicals on a periodic table. So therefore, if they're leaving a trail in the sky, it is a chemtrail. Don't tell me chemtrails ain't real. And all in here to talk about sulfur and oxidizing, sulfur. And it helps form hydroxyl radicals into sulfuric acid. This is why I want the acid readings. And there's articles from 2009. There's been congressional hearings had done on this. And I believe that's where this document here came from. Critical overview of approaches to modify global energy balance, climate engineering, right? Geoengineering is real. And it's very real. All these pollute the planet for climate's sake, Christian. Go to these articles. Richard Kerr, Science 101, 401 to 401, page 315, and type that in. Then it'll come up. I'm curious about this. Let's see what comes up. And I'll just type them in and see what comes up on the searches. Yeah, I'm very curious. Let's see what's going on. Let's see if we can find this guy's art. Yep, there it is. Climate Engineering and Inquiry. Well, I'm going to pop this onto the Facebook Live, and I'll try to get a link over to Instagram when I figure out how to do that. Isn't this fun? This is the screens I get to see. And good evening to you, too. Well, I see your responses over there, Facebook Live. All right, I'm going to pop you a link to that. There's some homework for us. This is when I click these links, what I come up with sometimes. I'll zoom back. So maybe it'll stop those lines. It references to geoengineering, loosely defined as the use of advanced technologies to mitigate or adapt the effects of climate change, have recently emerged. Now, they're causing the climate to change. I'm going to disagree with that thing. Just that term itself. That by geoengineering, by definition, changes the climate. Right? It has the paper examines the ways in which geoengineering has been defined, evaluates a number of leading proposals, such as and and highlights some of the ethical, philosophical. How about the no do it? We haven't asked the fish what they want, and they haven't communicated a vote. Right? The trees definitely don't like acid on them. Right? So defining. Right? And it's such as if you read these things, do you want me to read it? Before evaluating various geoengineering proposals, it is essential to establish an understanding of what is meant by geoengineering. Writing more than a decade ago, Thomas Schelling, now if this was in 2009, if it was written a decade before that, 1999, right? That would make sense in a timeline kind of way. He defined geoengineering as having three characteristics: global, intentional, and unnatural. Right? This means human activities such as building dams, clearing land for agricultural use while having potentially profound local, regional impacts on humans. They're not defining it as that yet. That is one definition, because it can. You put up a parking lot instead of where the trees were, you're going to have cause a heat island to form. That's a fact. A second requirement intentionally limits what is included as geoengineering by excluding the burning of fossil fuels. David Keith is the guy that does Scope X. He has a vested interest. The $25 million handed to him by Bill Gates did the chem bomb experiments that they say never happened. And I've filmed so many times the plumes in the path of the balloons he was going. You reading this yet? And that guy is very pro geoengineering. He's referenced a lot. Evaluating proposals. This thing is so disgusting. It's so disgusting. Here's a Dyson Institute. Princeton, another Ivy League college. Ways to sequester CO2. Yeah, I'm sorry, the trees will sequester CO2 and give us oxygen back. Hello, yo, McFly, is anybody home? Tap, 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 tap. I want Biscayne. Always have. Just for that purpose, to see if people are home sometime. Ovia planters. Advantages, adjustables about radiation. I just can't stand the fact that they say something is a chemical. They say they're going to die. Right there. That it will condense into on particles and it's going to make sulfuric acid. And that they say titanium oxide right here. But yeah, you told me. And I'm wrong. You told me it's not a chemical trail. And I've been told for years by many an activist not to call it a certain things. But there it is, right there in front of your eyes. Geoengineering scientific basis and challenges at U.S. technology hearing. I'll find this one too. Just because this is what I do. I do your homework for you. All you did was take a cut and paste, written testimony, research, geoengineering issues and accountability, testimony of this guy from the U.S. House of Representatives. This is put in Science Magazine. This is fact. This is not a rumor. And they had a hearing about this in Congress. All right, and they call it geoengineering. And it's very, very wrong when I see total denial even from the truther community when I present such facts and how long going this has been. You could show me lists of patents all day long, but I'll show you written testimonies that of things that are being said, suggested, and going on. What is it? Designed to cancel some of the warming. Bullshit, it's warming like hell. If you put a blanket over yourself at night, you're going to get warm or cold. But we got a blanket over this earth of filth and chem and crap. And all this is right here. You're going to go through this. You're going to go through this yourself. I do not have time to do all the re-homeworking on you guys. Each one of these will require a 2-hour show just to go over each one of these documents. A few $1 billion. Now they're up to trillions. They want trillions of dollars and they want to indebt your children. This was in 2006. Okay, you told me how long they've been planning this. You told me how that is a new thing going on. It's an indecent proposal to block sunlight on my planet. It looks absolutely disgusting when I show it on the sat view here. And I'm going to go right on back to that. Don't tell me it ain't real. Don't tell me it ain't going on. Ever. Did I get you a link to that over to your Facebook land? Yes. All right, there's some of your hallmark. Peter Irving, an overview of the Earth system of science, solar geoengineering. This one here, the science thing, came from a thing that was held in 2009. The report came out February 4th in 2010. All right, this is a very long-term plan. Problem, reaction, solution. Well, I'll tell you what, a solution of acid in my sky is defoliating my planet. It is bleaching my reef, in my opinion. And I damn sure know that none of these creatures get a vote in the toxicity of the water when we're doing this kind of shit. None of them are jumping up on land just biting you for no reason. Well, why are we biting them in the ass with this? Why are we allowing the petrochemical industry to put its toxic waste inside our bodies in so many various forms? Whether it's the fallout from the sky, whether it's inside the food you eat in the form of additives that are very unhealthy and unnatural, or whether it's falling out of the oceans into the fish that you said, yeah, I caught my own dinner, it should be organic, it's full of microplastic, worms, bacteria, and poisons. And it very much saddens me. When the mollusks go away, you're in big trouble. And you're going away. And as I'm watching these two storms interact with each other, this one's going to nudge that out of the way, so this bumps into that and comes right back over and haunts you again. Most of your action here today from Hawke's Bay and all that's coming from over here, and if they stop bombing you, see it on the screen here? I'm going to move just a little bit. I can get it a little more focused. I was going to strike for a minute. Do you live with it? Now, you guys get no more focus on Facebook, but I just did a better job for people who have any comments there. Somebody says they live in the North Island of New Zealand. And I can't quite read it. I have to go sideways with my hand. Mata. I don't have all the names down up here. If you're in the far north, you're getting chem-bombed all to hell. Look at this crap blowing off over the top. Look what's coming your way in this cloud of filth over here. All this crap over here. Something came along in a line and deployed. Almost like one of those sea transport methods doing the angel of death. Blossom move and firework that they do. It's very possible they could have exercises. They'll deploy here, and here as they're practicing. Meanwhile, they don't know they're being directed to geoengineer a storm. That's the only way I could think about it. None of our youngins are out there with a button pushing chemtrail on their ref. If anybody tells you that, they're fooling you. Who would do that? I mean, really? Someone will come home and talk. And the computer controls trims and this and Roger, we're having exercise, we're going to test this, that, this, and that. They blew up nuclear bombs until whole islands near disappeared and have to have concrete domes put on them for the harm they did. And some people never left the island, they just incinerated them in place. The indiscriminate military industrial complex just wants to sell its weapons. Nuclear weapons are bad. We know this. And so why keep buying them? Because they make you fear someone else is going to use them. Well, nobody wants to, so stop making them. See that right there? Look like a shield. Little streamers coming off it, all from one spot. Big square cloud. Shape charges, just like fireworks. Just like fireworks. You ever see fireworks from planes? These will be higher up in the atmosphere than that. This will be a lower deck, that hazy stuff. And that'll fall out more quickly than the others, unless the drafts mix the two together and as the fronts interact with each other as they come over. Yeah. Bzzzt. Let's see what Mimic is showing us today. Watch your eyes if your flashing lights bother you. Catch that last frame. Here. I'm just doing a quick look. You got a heavy sweep of a beam going across Australia right now. It's sweeping up and over as part of this setup right here. It's more than one station involved. The V shape is actually coming from the north. You're about here. And then one shooting north about there. You've got a ship north of Vanuatu. Now Blenheim's busy here and here. See the line? See it? Super darn. And the E-Scat radar here is most capable. You could do four sandwiches at a time. It's got a hell of a moving dish they've got on it over here. And a big harp fields over here. And two great big dishes over here. We're not talking any that are filled with like candy for your grandma's house. But the same old game is just about as stale. So you can see the big blasters all around Vanuatu. You got a ship. That's 100%, I'm sure about that. There's a timestamp for you pickies who are too lazy to go around and look at this yourself. Because it's so much easier to let somebody else do your homework. So let's roll back over here some of what the goings on are, and I'll zoom back. And as some of you know, sometimes I just roll it for a minute while I have a sip of water. I don't need one. Whoop. So with your Jocelyn camera, let me stop that moving. So I hope it's streaming all right at Instagram land. As I'm trying something new there. You might even get a notification when I come live. Robert comes alive. Really? The cam bomb in the high ceiling. There's fallout on the floor. And there's no one to relate to. It's falling out of my food. I hit the word button there. There's a hotkey involved. Hey, come on with the accumulation here. It's accumulating. Look at the stretch line here. Boy, if you got a high pressure in place there. Because I can tell by the rotations of the wind. And this is your problem. Where's the bubble up, folks? You've touched this move many times. It's right here. It is very, very wide. She's free to suck all that joy from the tropics right into her. And when it's wide like this, I get concerned for spin-offs over Western Australia way. So I'm watching for it. Been watching for it for days. That's very windy. And it surfs up Australia. You're getting a straight in wind. It's going to drive it straight to the shore. Yeah, that low has to form. It has to. Where is it? All the dynamics say it has to spit a low now. Well, bumping into the islands often do that. I expect that. This is a very volatile situation. If this high goes all the way across, the tropics up there, zone of Australia in the far north is fucked. And if it stays open much longer, you're going to have a rain event move across the trough here, and it's going to get quite heavy. And I'm expecting that because you got a feed of tropics down this way. You got cold air coming here and more flow this direction This radar here is going to be a key. I'll be watching for some blastings from the wicked glitches at the various stations on that day. And this is what they say is going to happen. And the totals could get, yeah, this is what I was worried she's going to do an up coast. It forms an instant low. It smacks the fuck out of New Zealand. I told you, you wait about the 18th or the 19th, you're going to see something. And this is what I was worried about. It won't last long, but when it hits you, you're going to know it. They're going to know. And then with a high pressure in place like this and a dive down move, you should have a few days off. I don't see how a huge storm could form, unless, of course, the chem bombers decide different and the EMF beams start blasting in changing the weather plans to what they say is going on. And as I look at the accumulations and the tens, is really all that's going to concern Australia. They're not showing much, and I don't believe that. I don't. All the flows say different, that they should be higher than that. And so I'm going to keep a good eye on this, and the chem bombs are going to decide it all. The next 24 hours to be expected along here. I'll turn that off. It's just drama for the eyeballs. It was necessary before. You can even see the straight line in the air. It's telling you they're beaming, and that all the condensates are going to nucleate onto the southeast side of that line. And over the next 24 hours, that should spread. Okay, just inundation. And they're just saying it's raining at all over here. I know for a fact it is. Right? Somebody's lying. They don't want you safe. I just think sometimes all these services have been bought up and been reported on it in a Murdoch type way. There's no choice but to, you better learn dynamics of weather. You better learn to read chem, and you better know when 10 centimeters of water is headed your way. Yeah, I know what it just said. I said different. I disagree. You guys got to listen. There's 10 centimeters of water coming your way. We ain't talking pick and mouth relish and mustard over here. We're talking real water running down these creeks, washing down a bunch of crap. And where's it all going to? Over here to Hastings. Well, you got to be on HashNet to believe in geoengineering as they flood out these valleys. It's not cool at all. As these totals are going to get quite heavy on this coast when that slammeroo comes through today. It's predicted on the ECMF. Right, the butt in on here on the Kiwi Head, whammo. Over here again in the same old story, the New Plymouth, whammo. Over here in the earthquake zones, whammo. Again, one side of the creek gets it, the other side of the creek gets it, double flow. Mangawita, fuck. Tayahapa, happy. What is it called? Just that place, fucked. And they're telling you in advance they're fucked, but are they telling you on the news you're fucked? I mean, really, can you even tell, looking at your radar, what the hell is going on? I'm curious. Met Service New Zealand radar. Or can you tell anything with this? Let's have a look. Yours is sometimes more discernible, right? What can you tell with that? These blips. Nothing. Now I can click, let's say, Wellington. Okay, they have a straight line going here. Can you determine anything with this? I can. I can see a blast from here straight up. Right, as we run these through. It's very hard to determine. I see EMF lines all in it over here to the south of Napier and all that between Palmerston North over here. That's going to undulate that field of earthquake. Got a beam shooting out from Wellington right over here. See it in the condensates? Look. Right there. Follow the middle finger line. There's another one right there. These are radar beams, and things coming north are going to tend to nucleate north of that line. Anything that came south running into that's going to nucleate down there. Got a V-shaped flow over here north of Blenheim. I got a beam shooting out here just north of Christchurch. See it right here? It ain't hard to see the geoengineer, but it's dang sure hard to determine whether you guys could stay safe when you're on your roads. You know, when I go to the weather radar or active radar, and I zoom in here, what kind of help is this if only once an hour I get an image and all I get is no data half the time? You know, as I watched this 59 minutes ago, nothing. Image change 42, 38 minutes, 28, nothing. No change in image. You get one an hour. And that one an hour they showed is a slam bust. I see that beam from Wellington showing here easily. You see it right here. See that beam right there. He didn't manage to take that beam out that's pointing. All those lines will point right at your radar station. Put a straight edge up on your screen. You could determine this yourself. I ain't making this up. That's a correlation. Look at this star formation of stuff there. That's a bomb. That's a chem bomb that's been deployed over here. It absolutely is a chem bomb been deployed. Over here. Underneath this mess. You can tell there's a mess. Underneath the mess. There's a mess above the mess. I'm telling you, it's a mess. That ain't the cat paw that you designed it. Look at the 4-star there. Right, this is geometric formations of firework deployments of chemical catalysts in your sky that's going to lead to some nasty weather. As I go over here to Australia today, let's have a good look here at the shit-stained skies and the chem abomination of it all. I'll turn off some of the nitty-gritty city names and run it. It's going to take a moment for that to clear. But, you know, this stuff would take forever to clear, years to fall out and clear. And ain't that a shame? If it just stopped. If we could just stop. Imagine there's frequencies we could use to drive this right out of the sky, detoxify this land, and start behaving nice to the other animals in the world. You know, become symbiotic with the other symbiotic creatures. Evenly spaced lines of plumes. This one like a chromosome. And they don't dissipate. And they're in a microwave matrix of plasmas. See the loops? It's not all just frying going on. You got bombs. And notice how this is not going downwind. It's propelled to stay in place. See? It just stays there. It's moving against the flow in some cases. And that ain't gonna be a slow wind up there. See? It just keeps shardy skies, it burned my eyes. Really, man, you're farting right in your face. Burning, the gonorrhea sky, the combination of it all. In Harvey Bay, you get it down on the low deck. Look at this crap way out to sea. I've seen some of your pictures. That's how far away that is. That's how high up in the atmosphere it has to be for you to see it from that direction. And you have a terrible deployment of sickness mix here. Look at the square. It's like somebody came down with a fertilizer box and just dropped it right on top of you. Right on top of you. If they're doing that on top of you, oh boy, you're the bottom boys. Are you taking that? See how it's nucleating in a square? Grafton, you're frying. And lots of chem bombs in that mix. Lots of crap in this line of shit. It's 1,000 miles long, toxified line here. Goes straight out to sea. What a bunch of electrical potential that's going to bring to the storm coming to New Zealand. It absolutely will. Look up ducting, D-U-C-T-I-N-G, in Electric Universe Properties. And how this is actually a wire and will behave like one. And so you could expect certain things to happen with it by wave induction of plasmas and this and that. See the that in the center of those squares? That's chem bomb deployment. High up in the atmosphere. Right here. Boom! 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 Go the plumes. And away went your sunny day. Chris is out here, this guy. Not naturally occurred, puffy clouds, microwave-induced madness, chem bombs falling out, shit on top of you that's not disclosed. It is wrong that this is allowed to continue. Look at Tassie over here, absolutely fried out with microwaves. Bzzz, that cloud ain't going nowhere. It ain't moving along at all. But yet still there, still nucleating, still going on. This is very, very wrong that geoengineering is allowed. It's very wrong that a billionaire that wants $1 trillion fund that dang sure going to use some of his products is killing off the food supply, toxifying the waters, killing off species, and I am watching an extinction level event going on right now. This is what it looks like when the gas chamber comes to you. Now let's see if we could catch them with their pants down before they start editing out the feed and catch an image of the down under areas I've been looking at and see if it looks as much like a derriere as I can see, and it does in advance. I'm going to go right into it. You ain't worry about no labels, no nothing. Let's catch it. No stripes on this image yet. You'll start to see editing stripes appear as per usual. See the bomb in the center of that cluster of a microwave interference pattern here? See the 4-star there? That's a domino. You got a 5 and a 4. We call that the domino. Domino. Ooh, ooh, something streamer off here. See it in the haze? It blew out a square. It's streamering. Streamers of death falling out. You got a big triangle cloud here in the high deck, but it's bomb, 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 bomb in a curve in an arc. Look at the sickness mix over here off of the bay of way too much. Chem bombs. How many directions of the wind do you have out here? Not that many. Something came along in a line in an arc. Boom, 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 boom. Most likely from this direction to this because the spreading out of it is pretty exponential. And with the timing of the deployment of this particular line here that I see, you get the dots. Very, very normal. Chemtrail, chemtrail, chemtrail. Chemtrails are real. Chemical catalysts that have been proposed are being deployed. They've been picked up in the rain samples. And well, when you start seeing certain squares and dots like this in the sky, they have no business being there at all. None at all. And I look at the chemtrails over the Kiwi head here. Look at the poor bird. Bzzz, frying your ashes. This is really just giving the middle finger to the whole geoengineering of it all. That's a sideways me giving the gig. Almost looks like an antenna here from a bee. Bomb, 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 bomb. See the face? Bomb, 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 bomb. See the square with the bomb, 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 bomb. See the bombs? Bomb, 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 and the dang, and the dang, the dang, the dang, dang. I could go worse. I could really stick one in your head right now. Do you want one? Australia is making it very easy today to do that. Oh, the lines have started appearing. You're going to try to get in front of me on this one. Look at the shadow that these chem bombs have let off. This forest got nothing. It's winter time, man. The heathers and stuff. It needs the sunshine for the few errors of the wavelengths that matter. Get to it. This here is an absolute dirty Sanchez sky. Absolutely sickness, man. Oh, into the dragon. Chem bombs. Chem bombing on boom boom and pluming. Chem bombing on boom 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 plume. Chem bombing on boom 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 pluming you. Chem bombing on boom 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 boom. Chem bombing on boom 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 plumes. Not naturally occurring cloud formation squares in your skies. Not happy white puffy clouds. When puffy you get this way, puffy combs. Don't even have hidden anymore. He done went to the ditty. Boom, boom, ba boom. Chem bombing on. Boom, boom, ba doo doom. Boom, 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 ba boom, boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, 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 booms. Bribey. Chem bombing on. Boom, boom, ba boom, boom. Richard. Boom, 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 ploo. Clounder. Boom, boom, ba boom, boom, ba boom, boom. Straight line clouds are not occurring naturally in nature. If they do, it would be once in a while. You wouldn't see 4 or 5 of them in the same day, in the same spot, unless EMF is going on. Oh, they can't keep up with me with the settle it is. Look, Harvey Bay, how you doing? Bzzz, Chem bombing on. Boom, boom, a plume in. My whales, boom, 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 plume. Chem bombing on. Boom, 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 plumes. Look at the sickness mix out here in the desert. Totally brushstroked out now. Like I'm not going to see it over here. Like I'm not going to go over here and say, hey, there it is, you freaking Nazis. N-O-T-S-E-E. We're being ruled by Nazis who do not want you to see things. They want to edit out everything so you can't even see clearly. But yet if they took a satellite image of you taking a wrong turn at a light, you'd get a ticket. But here comes the editing out. Here it comes. I can never load this screen in advance because the editing out of the feed occurs. What a fucking shame. I hate censorship. I hate gatekeeping. And I hate people thinking they're going to play God. Because God's going to show up. And when God shows up, you better have your house in order. Right, that's all I got to say. I'm going to figure out how to shut off the feed from this one and this one simultaneously. Right, big love, Instagram. Stay safe. Yeah, big love, Facebook land. Be you, be free, be oneness.